I drove through the barrier to execute a position whilst I was on my walk. I still have full risk on the table. He's the guy with like 30 million. Anything worse than that. It's Monday morning. I am just writing my email newsletter. If you're not on the email newsletter, link in the description, you can get a free PDF and you get daily emails, and they're more valuable than anything in the space. I don't care what you say, pure value. No bullshit, no fluff. Things to help you in life. So definitely check it out. Q3, new month, new quarter. Make sure you're getting after it this quarter. It's super important that you don't stay the same. Obviously, if you had a good Q2, amazing, you continue as you are, but there'll be things you can improve on. For example, for myself, I noticed that trading EU and GU together actually does me a disservice due to the correlation. And even on something like Darwinex, it doesn't really favour me that much because EU might be on a win streak, GU's on a loss streak, and it's kind of like you're making your loss streak bigger or you're making your drawdown bigger for no reason. And again, I was trying to trade two, I think, where it comes from a space of just trying to pass props quicker. However, with my risk management system I've got, I don't need two pairs, I can do it with one. So that was a good one. Also, one to share this morning. So obviously went to the gym and got to the gym and we've got like a barrier to let you in. And it wouldn't go up. The car before me, it went up, it wouldn't go up for me. And I'm thinking, what? Like, have I not paid my membership or like what's going on? And it just wouldn't go up. And last time, there's a car park fairly near. I parked in it and I got a £100 fine. So I was like, straight away my head was like, big man, you don't need to go today. Don't worry about it. You've been really good lately. You've been doing your steps. You've been eating well. Just have a day off. It's cool. Go home. Go and get on with your day. And I was like, fuck that. That's not who I am. So I drove through the barrier. I'm joking. Lucky enough, the barrier didn't go up for me in the end. But in that split second, in that split moment, I had a choice to make where my identity that I've molded and shaped, my mind tried to like persuade it to just not do the thing and, you know, not be disciplined today. It doesn't matter. No one's watching. But my identity immediately was like, that's not who I am. Went in, had an incredible session, new PB on the bench, new PB overall, I feel great. Writing this email newsletter, which is about fear, which is an incredible topic to talk about. And yeah, just gonna get cracking with the day. Obviously, we've got elections this week, we've got a lot of news this week. It's gonna be a sick week, big week. Looking forward to keeping you all posted on how we get on. Make sure you're smashing it, people. Back from a walk, had to execute a position whilst I was on my walk. So I am in this EU short, which I'll pull up. First trade of July. So daily wise, I'm pretty much looking to fill this gap. Again, it might not fill straight away. Obviously, we've had this low swept. We've then started to break bearish order flow. I still feel like this low is going to go, but obviously we've got a lot happening at the moment. Elections this week, France, America, England. There's so much going on. We do have high impact news on the euro at 1. So I probably won't be in this during the news, if I'm being completely honest. I usually shut half an hour before. I just like to try and protect my capital. It's not worth the risk. All well and good, it could absolutely send it, but it could do the opposite. I still have full risk on the table. Wouldn't look to take that off until we at least start breaking these lows. But yeah, essentially looking to have, put in the high of the day if, the news doesn't mess that up. Waited for kind of a structural shift and then got involved. 10 pip stop, a little bit bigger than I would have liked personally. So yeah, managed to get in it on my walk, which is the beauty of the style that I trade. I can just sort of execute on my phone. I've got all my lot sizes written down in my notes, so I know straight away, right, if it's 10 pips, it's this lot size, blah, blah, blah. It just makes for ease and convenience. It takes me a couple of seconds to get the position on. I prefer executing on my computer, but if I'm not here, you have to kind of adapt. 10,000 steps done already by 10:40. So I've got a call to jump on in a moment, and then I'm going to make some lunch and crack on with the rest of the day. So I'll keep you updated on the position and see what happens. It's Tuesday. Just got back from my walk. Yesterday's trade ended up hitting TP. We basically ran around 2%. And as we were running this, we had some news coming out in the afternoon. Obviously, we also had Euro news all day. So I was running 2% and I was like, I'm not looking to give 2% back. We've also got dollar news this afternoon. So I actually closed out for 2%, took my profits, first day of the month. I know this week's going to be hectic with all the news, the elections, different bits and bobs that are going on. So yeah, decided to just get out. It would have come back, BE'd me, and then would have ran to target. So again, made the correct decision. Easy to say, shouldn't have gone BE or wouldn't have gone BE. However, that's hindsight and that's where perfection exists. And currently in this EU long, which I held through this, which to be honest, I didn't think would do much and it hasn't, but the trade itself's looking a little bit stinky. So We'll see what happens here. Nice start to the month. No expectations on the month. What will be, will be. Go away at the end of the month for a couple of weeks. So I'd like to try and, you know, obviously be ahead so I can have some time off. I literally don't take time off. But obviously there's certain things that, you know, are non-negotiable. We'll get those done. I'm also about to jump on a call with Atu. Atu is the top trader at Darwinex. He's the guy with like 30 million under management. 9-year record. Interviewed him in Madrid last year, you may remember. Unfortunately, the interview didn't go out because he wasn't happy with how that interview went. Not anything to do with myself or him. He just didn't feel like he conducted himself in the way that he wanted to. And he's obviously got a lot of investors that look at him and can scrutinise him, and he wants to ensure that he articulates himself in the correct way. So we're going to jump on a call because he's willing to fly me to Finland and redo the pod, which is sick because it potentially gives me another insight into wanting to bring back the podcast. Also been talking to Darwinex themselves, and they were also saying, you know, they're willing to put me on to traders that, you know, are trading well on Darwinex and sort of interview them. So definitely something I'm looking at doing. So if you're not subscribed to the Sips, Pips and Tips channel, which is my separate podcast channel, go and subscribe. I'll leave the link in the description. Go and check that out. About to make a risk engine video, which is a highly requested video. So if you haven't watched that, by the time it's out, it's live on the channel. Go and check it out. But yeah, just looking at my leaderboard from last month. So shout out to these top 3. But also I want to say a massive shout out to these guys who are on Darwinex Gold. So Darwinex Gold is where you can actually attract investment. You need minimum 8 months. I also spoke about that in the risk engine video. But you need a minimum 8-month record. But this is essentially what you're working towards. This is where now you can attract investors. You can attract higher allocation. And it's kind of a bragging right. To be on Darwinex Gold, it's not easy to get on. So shout out to these two. Shout out to all of you on Silver as well. Like I say, if you're not involved, with the link in the description. This is going to become the new thing in the industry. I'm telling you now, and I'm telling you early on. Do not waste time, because the quicker you start, the quicker you're going to get ahead. Don't leave it late. You can save 20% off. It's cheaper than a Nando's. I've got a call to get on with Atu. Anything worse than that? That is like a dagger to the freaking heart. Like I said yesterday to people, you know, it is what it is. Again, it's funny, I put it on Instagram yesterday and I had a few people message me going, you should have done this, you should have waited for that. Listen, shut up, man. So boring listening to people yapping on, giving it loads of fucking big un when it's happened. In hindsight, you can catch every single trade on the fucking planet. However, it doesn't work like that in real life. So please, just accept the loss and let's move on. So for July, we're sat at 1% profit, which is cool. 2 days in. This morning, what I wanted to see has already happened, so I'm done. I'm actually off into London today to meet Sanjeev. Been meaning to meet with him for a while. We're just going to grab a coffee, have a chat. It's always good vibes with him. So we're going to do that. Not going to lie though, the weather, horrific out here, mate. Raining and all sorts. Got my coat out yesterday. I can't wait to go on holiday in 2 weeks, man. Just some sun, a pool, chill. It's kind of worked out well, no trades or anything. I haven't got to look at the charts now, that's me done. And I love having rules that kind of allow me to know when to stay out of the markets. Obviously, we're potentially going to see low liquidity and maybe bigger spreads for these next couple of days. Obviously, you've got Independence Day, you've got elections going on, quite a lot of news in general. So I'm also not looking to just, you know, be a nutcase and force shit for the sake of it. Just booked in Bruno's bath for tomorrow. He's going to have a little wash on that and then cut his nails. We normally do it here, but lift him in and out of the bath. He gets out, runs around the house, spraying water everywhere when he's freaking doing the whole... That's going to become a meme. But you know what they do, innit? Like... Oh, mate, never take life too serious, and it's important to laugh. The call yesterday with Atu was great. I didn't want to film it because he also had some of his business partners on. I didn't know if they wanted to be on camera. But it's looking like in August, back end of August potentially, we're just working on some logistical bits and bobs. I should be going out there and going to Finland. Insightful than perhaps some of the prop traders these days. Again, nothing against any of them. I'm one myself. But the messages being spread at the minute is just boring. People chat shit and you can see it. They share their trades, mate, and they might have made 20 grand, but if you understand trading, you can see that they literally just go and buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Oh, 1-1, cool. They show you that. That's not easy to replicate. And again, unless you've got other money coming in, it's very, very difficult to be able to just send accounts to space. And I think it's incorrect message. But other than that, I'm going to take him out for a cruise and then I'm going to get ready to go to London.
It's a Victoria Line train.
There he is! Man! How's it going? Are you good? Check out my 10-year-old cake, bro.
It actually looks sick.
Isn't it? So I've always wanted a Louis Vuitton bag for a long ass time. I've been looking at them for years. Also a bag to put my laptop in when I go travelling, when I go on holiday, or when I just go away for the weekend. I don't really have a decent bag and I'm quite fussy with the things that I have and whatnot. So I finally decided to make the purchase and went for this bad boy. Not Louis Vuitton, because I cannot comprehend spending £2,000 on a backpack that will be used a lot and will go on the floor a lot, and also is actually really shit for storage. And I realised it was just more of an insecurity from my past, thinking it would make me feel better. So I decided to buy this, which is not sponsored or anything, for £150, and it looks alright. Not a massive fan of the branding, but it's pretty discreet. It's from a brand called Stubble & Co. I'm not going to chat loads about them because they get bare free airtime. Yeah, so thought I'd share that because old me really wanted an LV bag and I've been looking at them for a long time and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. To be spending 2k on something that actually won't serve me, because the reality is I'm going to need a bigger bag anyway. So yeah, happy with that. Nicely done. Nice little purchase, saving pennies and putting those pennies towards things that are actually going to make me money, not just a bag to look cool. Again, it's not disrespectful. If you're into that sort of stuff, cool. And that's part of the reason for me is I'm actually into my fashion a lot. And there are some things that LV and Dior do that I'm like, oh, I really like. But I'm not justifying it if it doesn't have its use. So it's like buying a pair of boxers and they're going to get your balls inside. But because they've got LV written on them and it just keeps your knob in there, you're like, yeah, it's all worth it. And you just got your balls flapping about. It's not really worth it. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, not a bit of me. But other than that, it's Thursday. I'm just about to take Bruno to get a wash and get his claws cut because they're getting sharp. Watching the charts at the minute, looking to see if there's going to be any trades. I mean, obviously with Independence Day, the elections at the moment and news this week in general, it's a little bit of a slower week. Started the week, 2 trades back to back, win and a loss, up 1% for the week. Nothing yesterday, nothing today as of yet. A lot of people have asked me before, how do I manage news? How do I deal with news, especially when we have a lot of news? Look, one thing I want to highlight is news is not something you should be scared of. Like, you shouldn't freak out over it, right? It's always going to happen, and some people use it as their roadmap. Some people specifically only trade when there's news. Some people trade the news. You know, when I fly out to Finland to meet Atu and do the podcast there, you'll understand perhaps a little bit more on how he trades news. You can't say it's not, you know, tradable or it's not good. You shouldn't freak out of it, but you should be aware of it because, again, for me personally, I will not be in a position on the high impact events, so the CPIs, the FOMCs, the NFPs, the BOEs, the ECBs, things like that. I will not be in those events an hour, half an hour before they drop, because usually it's just building liquidity and it's not worth it. Even if I got risk off, it's again not worth it. But I will trade the morning of the event or, you know, the afternoon of the event, depending which time it is. Obviously, some prop firms have changed their rules now around that. So again, you've got to factor that in a little bit. Darwinex doesn't have a rule around that. So again, maybe you know, if you do factor that in and you do trade news and it is something for you, again, Darwinex could be a great place for you to do that. So yeah, that's kind of how I approach it. I'm, you know, after news, I'm happy to trade. So I will still watch the charts. If it hasn't completely violated everything I want to see, then I'll, you know, if there's an entry, I'll look to get involved. News is dangerous, must take the whole week off. Again, if that's your plan, cool, take the week off. It's also important to enjoy yourself, do other things. You know, tomorrow's an FP. With everything else that's going on that I just mentioned, me and Steph will probably just go for some lunch and have a day out and chill out. And I think it's important to do that as well, and it's important to have that balance. I know it's a constant battle and it's a hard thing to find. Some people don't believe in it. I personally do, but I have a different life to other people. So again, I have to find balance and I enjoy having that balance. But yeah, other than that, you know, there's not a right or wrong. It's just make sure you're being sensible. You know, if you're starting, let's say CPI is dropping or NFP is dropping and you're sitting there ready to hit sell or buy, you could argue that's a bit nuts. If you've got data on it and you actually have a proven evidence-based system on it, then do your thing, right? So yeah, just something I want to share because I get asked it a lot.
One for us, one
Why have
for
we
school.
got so much cake, Steph?
I've decided we need to get fat again.
Right, so we dropped Bruno off and now we are shopping. Does anyone else find that their shopping bill is a joke lately? I'm in the shopping gaff every single day. We're not buying this cake for us, by the way. Me and school's doing a cake day and they haven't got much cake, so we decided to come in and get some cakes for the school. So it's not for us, don't worry, even though Steph's going to try and munch it.
I'm going to try and keep the coffee one.
No, we don't.
One.
No, I
Look,
don't eat
it's
coffee.
tiny.
I don't eat coffee cake in the house because
It's
that's my
tiny.
weakness. I'll quiver at the knees and eat it. But yeah, so we're just getting some shopping, and then yeah, gonna get Bruno, dropped him off at his wash. He remembered where he was going, and he hasn't been there for ages, bless him. So this angle is horrific. Whoa, look, it's not locked onto me, so it just looks awful, mate. It's Friday, the kids have just gone to school, Steph's just taking them now. It's absolutely chucking it down, you know. I want to get my steps in, and I'll just put a coat on and crack on. Entered this EU trade, so see what happens. I'll be out of it way before NFP. I'm going to go for lunch with Steph and stuff today, so I'm just seeing if I can get some London momentum. Not a lot I can do, it's out of my control. Now it's about, you know, if you're someone that finds yourself staring at the chart and intervening or doing silly things, now it's about putting something in place for you to not do that, to go and do something else, whatever it might be. But my job now as a trader is done, as I've been saying for weeks. I've clicked the button. Now it's about letting the kind of trade do its thing. Obviously we'll manage, but I just set alerts and then I'll just crack on with my day. And what will be, will be. You know, I can't get the hump if it doesn't work. The market's not against me. Whatever you want to put in your head. It's just, you know, a sequence of events I'm following at the end of the day. We're absolutely soaked today. However, we got it done. Put a little reel up to just kick people to be like, don't use, you know, external factors such as the weather as a reason for you not getting out and getting your exercise in and doing your thing. It's very important that you don't lie to yourself and say things and then go against them. So yeah, we got them done. Steph came with me, car charged, all that jazz. Yeah, that trade, by the way, earlier, EU, absolutely shagged me, but it's all good. It happens. There's not a lot you can do about it. And the sooner you realise that, I promise you, the better. And yeah, I'm going to log it and then just crack on with the rest of my day, head out for some lunch. Probably wrap the whole vlog up there, to be honest. So, as always, appreciate you all watching. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, because it takes seconds. You could have done it by now. So, anyway, football's on tonight. It's going to be some good games. England tomorrow, I hope they do the business. They need to turn up, but I'm not creating an expectation because then I can get annoyed, and we don't need that. So yeah, without further ado, I'll catch you in a bit. Peace and love, gang.